So today we'll be studying general defenses. So the first one is voluntary, non fit injuria. So in this case what happened is that when a person willingly give consent to the risk. So let's understand this case through an example. So let's see that there is a boy named A who is playing volleyball with his friends and he gets hit by the ball. So in this case a boy cannot suit a file because he voluntary given consent for playing volleyball. So how you can write it over here, you can write it like person voluntary subjects himself to some risk. Okay, so for example, a boy named A playing volleyball with his friends and get hit by a ball. So in this case no suit will be filed. So two essentials in this case are, first one is knowledge and second one is consent. Okay, so now let's see the second one is plaintiff the wrong doer. So in this case you know that plaintiff is the one who files the case. So when it is plaintiff own mistake then the case cannot be filed. Okay, so you can write it plaintiff cannot take defense if he or she was wrong on his or her part. So there is one legal magazine in this. So it is to be causa non auditor action. So what does this mean is no action is equals to immoral cause. So the next one is act of God. So in act of God you can take the example of floods or an earthquake, or you can take drought, etc. So over here you can take as natural forces, and second is without human intervention. So you can take the example as a person A has to deliver goods to person B, but there occurred heavy rain, due to which transports were stopped. So you can see over here there was no human intervention, and due to the heavy rain the goods could not be delivered. So in this you can say it is act of God. So now let's see what are essentials in this case. Essentials. So the first one is natural force, And the second one is occurrence of extraordinary event. And the third one is cannot be anticipated. So the next one is inevitable accident. So in this case what happens is that this was an expected event. Unexpected. Okay, so first one is could not be foreseen, and second one is due care and reasonable caution. So in this case what happens is that you did not know that this event is going to happen beforehand. So let's take an example. What happens is that there was a medical emergency, and while driving the tree fell due to the heavy storm. So the car went skiding to the black ice, and due to which the person could not see. So this was an unexpected, because we did not know beforehand that this is going to happen. So you can write a sudden emergency, a sudden medical emergency, and a tree fell on the car, and the car skiding on a patch of black ice, due to which impossible to see beforehand. So the next one is private defense, or you can say it is self defense. So in this case what happens is that you did some act to protect yourself. Second one is your property, and third one is someone else. Fourth one is someone else property, someone else property. So let's understand this through an example, that there was a person A who was running with material of person B, and when the person B caught him, he just hit him with a rod. So in this case, you cannot sue B because he did that for his self defense. So how you can write it over here? You can write it like this. So A was running with material of B, and B caught him and hit him with a rod. So no sue against B, because he did it in his private defense. So the next one is mistake. So there are two types of mistake. So the first one is mistake of fact, and the second one is mistake of law. So you can say this can be unexcused, but mistake of law cannot be excused. So there is one legal maxim in this, you can say, that is ignotia juris non accusant. So what does this mean is, this means ignore, and ignore of this means law, and is not an excuse. So you can say that mistake of law cannot be excused. Okay, so the next one is necessity. So what does this means is that you did something out of necessity. Second one is to avoid a greater harm. You can So let's understand this through an example. So there was a person A who was driving his car and his brakes get failed. So there was so in one side there was a crowd standing, and on the other side you can say only two-person was standing. So he took the car to that side where only two-person was standing. So you can say that he took there so that he can avoid greater harm. So now let's write it. You can write it like this, that a person A driving a car, his brakes get failed, and a crowd of person, only two-person. So he took his car where two-person was standing to avoid greater harm.